there, welcome to Monthly Motivation for July 1st. We are going to do a Q&A. Last month for June Monthly Motivation, I did a Q&A. Many of you shared you loved that, so I took a poll and asked if you wanted to see it again this month, and I had a great response of yeses that you do. Then I proceeded to ask you what questions you have for me, and that's what we're going to tackle today. There were some patterns and some similar questions, so I will try to keep these in categories. We're going to start with parenting. What was your go-to discipline method when your children were young? It's been a long time, so it's hard for me to remember everything. I know we utilized time out, but not a lot. And we always really just implemented consequences for your behavior. So whatever the child did that was wrong, there was always some type of consequence. And this really carried into their adolescent and teen years. If something took place, we always chose to hit each child where it hurt. So generally, we would take something from them that would be impactful. Taking a cell phone away, for example, would impact a child if they didn't have a cell phone for 3 days. So every child's consequences were different, but we always hit them where it hurt. One of the things that I will share when our children were very small, young, toddler, preschool age, we never tolerated whining or crying for no reason. Obviously, if a child got hurt, they may cry. That makes sense. But to cry to get what you want or whine was never acceptable in our home. We always forced our children to speak clearly and ask for whatever it was. So for example, they were called sippy cups. Don't know what they call them today. But I would not have a toddler or preschooler pulling at my leg wanting a sippy cup, whining for a sippy cup. They were encouraged and pretty much forced to have to speak for what they wanted. Therefore, they were pretty early talkers because they weren't allowed to whine to get whatever they wanted. What were your fun family traditions when your kids were younger? Mainly camping. We camped every single year for several weeks. That was a tradition. We always went to the same location, so everything we did was always a tradition. Also, holidays, many traditions with holidays, from baking cookies to going to certain families' homes for different parties. All of those were really establishing traditions, but I would say for my girls, probably their biggest memories are camping. Were any of your daughters rebellious? Not really. They really weren't. It is really amazing because my husband and I have 5 daughters, again, ranging from about 27 down to 14. 4 of them are adult children, so we only have one that is a teen right now. Raising our 5 daughters was not that much work. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I do believe a lot has to do with parenting. Yes, there were trials and tribulations. Yes, there was animosity and disagreements. Of course, that's typical in any home. But what's amazing is how often people would say to my husband and I, "Oh my gosh, 5 girls, your poor husband. Oh, 5, oh, girls." It's amazing how people react. And we never really could relate to that because we never felt that's what it was. It was never like that. Our girls were pretty good kids and no one really challenged us extensively. I wouldn't say any of them challenged us extensively. Were there times when we were on our toes? Yeah, as you should be. Regardless if you have a reason or not, I think you should be on your toes. But no one was really rebellious. Most valuable thing that you taught your daughters while raising them. How to think for themselves and be their own human being. We did not make all the decisions for them. We helped them navigate figuring out things for themselves, and it's really showed up now that they are adults. The other thing is how to manage your money. Live below your means and how to manage your money. That paid off. Another thing is how to control your emotions and manage your emotions. We don't have to react or respond to everything in the heat of the moment. Teaching our girls to sit back and pause and really identify, what am I feeling right now and what's the other side to this story before jumping in. And I'll tell you that today, now that they are thriving adults, they really do put out these skills that they learned at a young age, and it really helps them to adult well. Best way to respond to unsolicited parenting advice. Well, I always say, look at the source. Who is giving you this unsolicited advice? Most often, it's not someone that you would take advice from in the first place when it comes to parenting. So really what you do, you let it go in one ear, you let it exit the other ear. You just smile. You don't need to say anything. Why stir the pot? Just always look at your source. And that's not just in parenting. That's in marriage, finances, diet, wellness, anything. Always look at your source. If you don't see them as being admirable or someone that you would aspire to be like, one ear, out the other. I love the acronym WAIT, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? I wish more people implemented that. Just because we may be sharing something does not mean we opened up a window to hear your thoughts or your advice, but people love to put it out there. And sometimes it's based off of something to do with them. Something to do with them. What systems do you recommend to implement with children starting from the toddler years? Clean up after yourself, organize your things. That's really the beginning. And then also very slow and gradually incorporating chores. Kids can help out at a very young age. It takes a village to run a household, and that includes the kids as well. Mom and dad do not need to do everything. So if they are seeing you be organized in managing and caring for your things, they will follow suit. But at a very young age, you want them to have respect for their belongings, and you want them to learn how to take care of them. Who is your favorite daughter, and do you miss me? Well, this is so funny because Chloe put that on there. Chloe put that on my Instagram stories when I asked for your question. So who is your favorite daughter? Pips, of course it's you, of course. That was such a loaded question. And do I miss you? Yes. She has been up north, which is a Michigan terminology, all week with a friend on Lake Huron, and she will be back before this video gets published. But yes, of course I miss you. You've been gone. Today is Friday, and you've been gone since Monday, so of course I miss you. And of course you're my favorite. You're my favorite. Funny story. My dad, whenever he sees any of my daughters, when he first sees them, he'll give them a hug, and he'll always whisper in their ear, how's my favorite granddaughter? And then he'll go to the next one, give her a hug, how's my favorite granddaughter? Go to the next one, how's my favorite granddaughter? But he would always whisper in their ear. Well, it's so funny because all of the girls think that they're grandpa's favorite granddaughter. So whenever there's a birthday for my husband, or whenever it's my dad's birthday or Father's Day, whatever, if any of my girls get him a card, they always sign it from your favorite granddaughter. So he may get 5 different cards from all 5 of our daughters, and every one will say from your favorite granddaughter. So it's just a cute little thing. I have been asked before if we ever really had a favorite. No, I don't know if any parents can say that they have, but in all honesty, there's certain things that I enjoy with certain daughters. So for example, Kirsten and I, we walk all the time. So who's my favorite person to walk with? Well, Kirsten, because we do it all the time. So it really just depends on what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. You may enjoy shopping with a child more than another one, or maybe one of your children enjoys going to the theater. So that's your thing to do together. But there's never really, we just love our children unconditionally, and we love them all the same, even though they're all different. Even though sometimes we want to pull our hair out, we love them all the same. So there you go, Pips. Of all your daughters, which one is most like you in having their, I'm not going to say the word, but shh, together? You know what I'm going after. That's what the person put. Depends on the area. I believe that all of my girls have their stuff together, and it just depends on what area. Many of the girls have it together in all areas, some don't. But it's also a busy time. They're finishing up college for some of them, getting started with their career, starting to get married, whatever. They have a lot on their plate. But I would say that all of our girls do very well at being self-managed. And so for the most part, they have their stuff together, but they could be lacking in some areas and better in other areas, just like we all are. Very typical. Here's a finance question. What methods did you and your husband implement to handle finances so wisely? Communication and teamwork. Number one, communication and teamwork. We both have our hands in the pot when it comes to finances. He may handle areas a little better than me, and I may handle certain areas a little better. I wouldn't say we're really better, we just manage that part better. For example, when we took all of our finances and did it where you could have your payments taken out online, my husband, he's very fast on a computer, so he set up all of that. I manage the envelope system, but I'll tell you something. My husband and I both came from savvy middle-class environments. Our parents were savers. Our parents lived below their means. So when my husband and I joined together, we already had the same mentality when it came to money. Neither one of us knew what it was like to spend lavishly because we had never witnessed that in our own home. So you have two people who already believe live below your means, save money, and don't use credit card. You come together, it's a perfect marriage when it comes to finances because we came from those type of upbringings. How does one manage not being affected by other people's bad moods? I know how tough this can be because I grew up in a home where moodiness was on the daily, and I internalized it, and it was difficult as a child, and I'm so thankful that as an adult I realized that the moods had nothing to do with me. And that's the most important thing, is just to identify that is how this person is wired, that is how this person shows up in life, and it really has nothing to do with me. Don't internalize it because it can really tank your self-esteem. Also, if you're that moody person, just to understand that you have a big effect on the people that live with you, and maybe you need to work with a coach and we can identify where this moodiness is coming from and how we can shift it, because it's not personality. We can work on your energy and your emotions, believe it or not. But let's find out what's going on with you, because it really does have a lot of effect on your loved ones. Do you have any regrets in life? I really can't pinpoint that I do. Now, I'm sure I've ate things that I regret later, for sure. That happens probably quite frequently throughout the year. But do I really have anything that I feel was just really a mistake or just a big error? Something I would really regret? I can't really say that I do. I guess because I look at even the little things that could have been, yeah, that maybe didn't work for me. Those are just opportunities to learn, to grow. So I wouldn't regret something that taught me something. If I learned a lesson or I grew and developed and became a better person as a result of a choice I made, then there's no regret involved. Do you ever worry about the future? No, not really. And I think a lot of it is when you've really lived a good life and you've made great choices and you've managed your life well, you don't really fear the future. And I have faith in God. So it's really, I don't need to be fear. He's always there for me and he always will be there for me. And there will be things that will happen throughout my life. And my faith in God is what's going to pull me through. There's no question. Well, I would hope. I'm not there yet, but that's my prediction, is my faith is going to prevail and pull me through. Now, do I worry about my children once in a while? Absolutely. If it's night and one of, I have a daughter that is a server at a restaurant, and if she works evenings, I may know when she's driving home and I may worry about her. She's on the road when people have been out drinking. We have all this texting and driving. Yeah, we worry about our kids. I think that's natural, but I don't know if that would really be fear or fear of the future. So no fear of the future, even with everything going on. To me, this isn't huge. To me, this is not. And I get to say that. Everything going on in our world right now, it may be quite ugly, but I still see so much beauty in this world. This is not going to trip me up, okay? It does for some people. Love being a coach because I can help navigate that. Do you ever get tired of making YouTube videos? No, I wouldn't say I ever get tired, but I would say I have a lot on my plate. I mean, I'm running a business full-time. I'm coaching full-time, and I'm pumping out 2 YouTube videos a week. So I have a lot on my plate. So I never get tired of making YouTube videos, and I never lose ideas for content because you guys are always providing me with whatever it is you'd like to see, and that's where I gauge my videos from. But it is a lot to keep up with. You know, my life is very well managed, and I wouldn't be able to do it if it's not. But YouTube wouldn't be for everyone. I really haven't met too many people that I think would be able to really effectively do YouTube for various reasons. Because I'm doing it, so I know a lot of the behind the scenes that goes with it. And it's only for a very small percentage, and that's probably why only a very small percentage of us are out there doing it. How long have you and your husband been married? 28 years, and let me share, we were a blind date and it didn't go well. Yeah, it didn't go well at all, but here we are. It's a mystery and some history. That's all I can say. 28 years though. How do you stay motivated if your partner is not? Well, motivation has nothing to do with my partner. If you rely on other people for motivation, it would make complete sense that you don't get the job done. Motivation, like many things, comes from within. How do you prep your notes for each video? It's a little different for each one, and once in a while I have to get some assistance because I just can't get 2 videos out with my schedule, so I enlist some help. But it really depends. I do research, or it comes from the noggin. A lot of it comes from the noggin, or just like this. I decide, hey, let's ask you what you'd like to see for July 1st monthly motivation. You want to see Q&A? Let's do it. Then I ask you your questions and my notes are provided for me. How can one find the fire inside to wake up at 6 a.m.? No idea. No idea. I have never found fire to get up early, and I get up at 4 a.m. I think if you're relying on fire, you're going to struggle. I think it's just what time is your alarm set for, and when it goes off, you get up, you get out of bed. It's a non-negotiable, and if you don't, you're going to probably regret it. So let that be your guide. But fire, I haven't experienced it. So if you ever do, let me know. I'd like some of that fire. When you first started coaching, what was the biggest struggle for you? Getting enough clients to make a decent income because it takes time. So that would have been the biggest struggle. Marketing yourself. Clients aren't coming to knock on your door. Well, they are now. Now clients find me. I don't have to go find them, but it doesn't start out that way, just like any business or profession. How to deal with toxic parents when they live with you? Well, the fact that your parents live with you, I'd like to coach around that. Not sure why parents are living with whoever left this question. Clearly that was either a boundary that never got set up or some other reason. I think there's a decision that needs to be made. If there's toxicity, well, how did it begin? Well, the thing is it's there. And I believe that boundaries and parameters were not set up initially. If you are going to have any outside people live in your home, there better be an operations playbook or something that they follow along, that these are the rules of the house, and if you don't comply, you don't stay. Everyone's situation is different, and hopefully you and your husband were on board because this should be a mutual decision. There can be a lot of stress on a marriage by bringing in elderly parents, so a dialogue that needs to take place between a husband and a wife, because in my mind and in my home, my husband is number 1, kids are number 2, and I am number 1, kids are number 2. And if my husband was not comfortable having my parents live in my home, then that is going to take priority of whether or not those parents are in my home. So not sure the whole dynamics of what happened. We would have to coach to find out what happened and how you can continue on so that you're not affected by the toxicity. I think the error probably took place initially before the parents were in the home, but this really is a coaching session or several. What is your definition of classy and elegance on social network sites? Probably not the same as most people would think. So classy and elegance is someone who is composed and refined in their language, what their captions are, and what they're putting out. If something controversial or big news comes out, and a person is commenting on it or leaving captions about it within the first week before the real stories come out, I don't necessarily see that as classy and elegant. I believe sitting back and processing and waiting it out shows a lot more class and decorum than jumping in with everyone else during the heat, because that's normally what we see. Also, what type of photos are you putting out there, and how much are you sharing? Because I don't agree with sharing too much about our private and personal life. I believe that being transparent really makes you relatable, and I do love that, but I believe that people are sharing too much behind the scenes about their life, and I find it to be not classy. I find it to be disrespectful for one's family members and home environment, and they just haven't found that fine line or filter. If there's no filter, I don't see that as classy or elegant at all. There needs to be some type of filter with the tongue, with the keyboard, with the photos, in everything that you're sharing about your life. And I could go on. We could do a video on this. How do you get back on track with your goals after getting off track? I just do it. I just do it. It's not uncommon to get off track in areas of our life, whatever those big areas may be, but it's consciously choosing to get back on track, to say, how did this happen? How did I let this happen? Taking full responsibility. And I know what it takes to get back on track, so I just need to make that decision, execute, and follow through and deliver. It's all about doing it. We rely too much on everything else. We rely too much on noise, and noise will never sustain us. Most things lie within. They're in the noggin, and they lie within. So you can do this, believe it or not. You don't need the noise. You're just asking for it, and sometimes that can be your excuse. Is, well, I didn't have the right motivation, or it wasn't this. But don't forget, that's level one, playing the victim. I have no power. You have complete power to get back on track. Choose it. Own it. How do you move from working on what is important to what is urgent? Differentiate the two. Differentiate the two. Ask yourself, is this important? Yes, most things are, but is it urgent? Okay, the urgent things are the things that need to be done today or tomorrow, because we organize tomorrow today. So you have to differentiate. Do you have days when you are particularly unmotivated, and what do you do? Yeah, absolutely. Don't we all? Even us high energy anabolic individuals, we have days where we're not motivated. I embrace it. I give myself grace. I have a blog post and a video talking about those exact days. I don't beat myself up. I'm not about ready to guilt trip myself. I just embrace it. Hey, I do a lot. I deserve to be unmotivated at times, and I deserve to sit around and not do a darn thing. No judgment and no shame. That's the balance of life, and I rarely do it. So when I do, embrace it. Why did you decide to stop being a stay-at-home mom and start working and open a business? Well, my kids were getting older, so I was a stay-at-home mom the whole time. I didn't go to work until my oldest was probably getting into her last couple years of high school, and then I phased in slowly, but it's because I knew I had something to give to this world besides just parenting and being a wife and living the domestic duties. I always had being a coach, and I'm an entrepreneur by nature. I have all the skills very naturally that are required to be an entrepreneur. So owning a business has always been in me. And actually, I still have another burning desire to own another type of business. My kids and the family know about it all the time. Totally different type of business, but it's instilled in me. And then coaching is just something that's very natural. So living my calling, living my vocation, bearing the fruit God gave me, it was time, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice being home with the girls when they were small and really getting them to where I wanted to. And I ran a tight ship, and I treated the home life and ran the home as if it was a top-notch profession. Ways to budget. Like I said earlier, living below your means, saving money. It's so important. Again, you don't have to have all the nice things in the world. You'll never regret saving money. Really pay attention to what you're saying yes to, because if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And before making purchases, really think it through. Ask yourself some pivotal questions, because often we're purchasing things or taking trips or going places that really don't align with where we are with our finances. So you really have to be able to step back and process and assess. If your place of employment offers a stock savings or a 401k program, I highly encourage you get involved. Now, not only do you want to be saving for today, you want to be saving for the future. If you're in a marriage or a partnership of some sort, get on the same page. Be a team, work together, figure out your system, something that you both can be happy with. How do you find your calling in life when you think you are not good at anything? Well, everyone is good at something, plenty of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's your calling in life. So I feel you have to separate the two. Identify where you're good, because we all are at certain things. Generally, a statement like that is coming from a place of low self-esteem, and I'd love to coach around why that is so that we can find out and we can pull out all of those things that you are great at. But just because you're great at something doesn't mean it's your calling. I love to cook and I'm really good at it, but it's definitely not my calling. I would not want to be doing cooking as a profession or as a career. So you really have to pay attention to the meaning behind both of those. How do you stay in your lane with diet or other areas of your life? Avoid going into other people's lanes. If you want to stay in your lane, tune out the noise. Okay, that could be on social media. Stay in your lane, avoid going into other people's lanes. That's the biggest problem, is we don't stay in our lane. How do you find your style? Well, ask yourself a couple questions. What do I look good in? What flatters me? What neckline looks good on me? What silhouette gives me the hourglass shape? People that are really into trends generally compromise their style, because they'll wear things that don't even flatter their physique just because it's a trend. So it's an eyesore when you do that. You really have to know what looks good on you and what colors look good on you. If you see an attractive woman and she looks chic and sophisticated and you love her outfit, you need to also look at the shape of her body and determine, could I pull off what she's wearing? I love to get ideas and inspiration by looking at other women when I'm out and about or in a photo, whatever it may be, screenshot something. But you do have to ask yourself, how can I envision something like this on my own body? Because a lot of the models that you're seeing in Instagrammers that are influencers are, I always say, they're basically runway models that never made it on runway modeling, because they're long and lean and they're a beanpole. Well, I'm slender, but I'm no beanpole. I'm not built like them. So I know not everything they're wearing is going to look good on me. You have to know your own body. Wear your flattering colors. I'm wearing a beautiful color today. This is my color. So wear the colors that really make you pop, and wear the shapes of clothing that make you pop, and watch the trends, because a lot of them, I don't even know the last time the real trends looked good on me. They just don't. And sometimes, I don't like when women my age wear too young of a look, too ruffly and I don't know. Well, that's a video for something else. Well, don't forget, next week though, Wednesday, July 15th, I'm actually having a Dress for Success class on Zoom. I'll have a link in the drop down, but yeah, join that class. Basically, I'm talking about how to dress for date night or when you're first meeting someone. but there's 12 best practices to dress for success and how to have style and project yourself in a positive way. I'm talking hair, makeup, clothing, you name it. The good, the bad, what we're all doing wrong. You'll want to join that class. It's going to be amazing. So yes, link will be down below to join the class to Dress for Success 12 Best Practices. What do you think about 50-50 relationships, marriages, both men and women splitting the bills? I believe it's really up to you. Whoever you are a partner or in a marriage with, that's who determines the answer to this. You sit down together and you decide, what are we both going to be happy with and satisfied with? That's the whole goal. In relationships, just like in life, we want to be satisfied and fulfilled with the partnership, with the unity. Well, that requires communication. I don't have your answer. Now, of course, in a coaching session on budgeting with a couple, we can navigate that. I can help the two of you figure something out, but it really is a dialogue that needs to take place between you and your spouse, putting everything on the table, the income, the expenses, in deciding what is going to serve us best, where we both are going to be happy and satisfied and fulfilled. How do you know when to leave a 30-year marriage? I don't know if there's ever a right timing to leave a marriage. I don't. People will wait till the kids are grown and gone. They'll wait for this. If you've determined that you are leaving this marriage and you're asking how to know when, well, there's never going to be the right time. It's kind of like starting a business. Do it before you're ready. Do it before you're ready, because you will always find a reason not to. If you've made up your mind that you're leaving this marriage, and it sounds to me by the wording that you have, it's not about when, it's just get the job done. It's as simple as that. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Now, if you need some help, if you're in the process of deciding of whether or not you're going to leave the marriage, let's do the pain gain. Book a session with me. I would say book at least the 6-session package, and we'll do the pain gain model. It's a model that I use when you have a really big decision to make in your life. Very difficult one, and you don't want to make a mistake. We will pain gain that, and we will find out what's going to serve you best. And believe it or not, your answer will be right there when we do the exercise. It's amazing exercise because it just pulls out all the things that navigate that answer. What is your tips for staying organized? Do you do a shared calendar for work and home? I have several calendars. I use Google Calendar, and I have several calendars. Some are personal, some are business. I believe I have 6 or 7 different business calendars. Maybe more. I'm always adding new ones because now we have the HCC newsletter, we have Zoom. I have a lot of different calendars. They are all color-coded. My system works amazing for me. It's very streamlined. How do I stay on top of it? I just do. All day long, I'm managing and navigating. I am very good at managing time, managing my day, managing my life, and keeping systems in place. The biggest mistake is you don't have a system. So a lot of people want to get organized, but there's a prerequisite to organization. It's the system. So when I work with a client who wants to get more organized, the very first question I have is, share with me what your current system is. And sometimes I will hear I don't have one. So now we're not even getting organized yet because we have to create the system. They want to get organized, but there's nothing to organize because they haven't created the system. One of my favorite topics to coach in is creating systems. So hopefully at some point I can do some workshops on that. But again, that's hard to do because that's really one-on-one work, and that's done through coaching. Book a session. My link will be below to get on the calendar. What are your thoughts on digital planning? Love it. Love it. Still use my Inkwell Press Planner. Just am starting a new one today on July 1st. But I only use that for my books, for my business, and then tracking my exercise and diet. Those are the only 2 things. Everything else is on my digital calendar, which I use Google Calendar. Someone just asked clean eating, but then and that's it. I don't know what exactly they're looking for. And then I also have, how do we get motivated to lose weight? Well, who is really motivated to do the steps to lose weight? Because losing weight is all about eating. And who is really motivated to eat clean all the time and never indulge? I mean, there's no motivation behind it. It's just a decision. Do you want to lose weight? What are you doing today that's not serving you? What do you need to do tomorrow to serve you? And then you just have to own it and do it. You have to own it and do it, but you have to make sure that you get it, you want it, and you have the capacity to do it. GWC. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get the fact that you want to lose weight? Do you want it? Be honest with yourself. Do you really, really want it? And C, do you have the capacity to do it? GWC. If you want to work with me, another model that we'll use to find out and identify this, IDS, identify, discuss, and solve the issue. We'll take care of this, but this is one-on-one coaching if you can't be self-motivated. There's so much power in one-on-one coaching in all these areas. Everyone needs to be working with a coach year-round. They really do. It's the best investment for yourself because a lot of these you'll have the answers to. Because you're working with a coach. There's someone holding you accountable, helping you navigate your life, helping you navigate your profession, your marriage, your relationships, your kids, your finances, your diet, your wellness, your health, everything, organization, systems. Everyone can benefit from working with a coach. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, what mascara do you use? I'm putting a picture in right now because I don't feel like grabbing it, but there's 3 that I use. So I will have them inserted. The first one is Marc Jacobs. You can see that here. The second one is Tarte. You can see that one here. And the third one is by MAC, and I only use this one on the lower lashes. So the Marc Jacobs and the Tarte top lashes, I do 2 coats of the Marc Jacobs, 1 coat of the Tarte. I curl my lashes 2 times, and yes, I'm doing Latisse. These are my lashes. So that's the 3 mascaras that I use. Links will be provided in the drop-down box below. Please utilize those. And are you still self-tanning, and what products do you use for that? Still loving the Jergens. You can see a photo here. Jergens 3 days to glow or 3 days to grow or whatever. It's the shorter bottle, hard to find in the store. Still loving that. And then the other one is this cocoa one. Didn't want to go grab it, but here's a picture of that one. These are the 2 that I love to use. The Jergens one can be a little sticky, so I pick and choose which days I use that one, and I use the other one on days when I don't want to have more of that sticky feeling, but they both work great, and I am currently self-tanning right now. For the face, I use the Clearance Booster. You can see that here. Been using it for probably 5-6 years. Mix it in my moisturizer. Nothing better. Many of you are using the Clearance Booster as a result of me sharing about it. All right. There you go, Q&A. July 1st, we are entering Q3 of 2020, quarter 3. What are your big, hairy, audacious goals? I call them rocks for Q3. I would say have a good 3 to 5. I limit myself to 3 to 5. You gotta have those goals or you won't be going anywhere. You won't. You gotta bring some consciousness and awareness around them. So rocks for Q3, get them down 3 to 5, business, professional, personal life, whatever it may be. Don't put too many on your plate. You'll never get to them. You'll be overwhelmed. Just choose 3. Don't forget, links below. Don't forget to get registered for my Dress for Success 12 best practices to put your best foot forward with chic, class, sophistication, and elegance. Yes, this will be the class for you. It'll be about an hour to an hour and a half long. Links will be provided in the drop down. All right, we'll see you soon on YouTube here. Yeah, me. Okay, bye.